It is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Christopher Whiteman, a member of the class of 1999. Chris is a partner in PJT Partners, a global advisory focused investment bank. In 2018, PJT acquired Camberview Partners, a firm Chris co founded in 2012 after leading Vanguard's proxy voting and portfolio compliance functions for many years. Chris is currently chair of the law school's Dean's Advisory Council. When he's not advising us, he works with publicly traded Fortune 100 companies, advising their management and boards on how to deal with activist shareholders, proxy voting, and corporate governance issues. Like Bill, Chris received the UB Law Alumni Association's Distinguished Alumni Award for Business Achievements. He flew in from his home base in San Francisco to be here tonight to honor his friend, Bill Savino.
Thank you, Eileen, for that incredible introduction. And welcome, everyone. What a great turnout. And I think it says a lot about Bill and the community here in Buffalo. So thank you all for being here. I'm thrilled to be here and honored to preside over this special dinner for such an extraordinary honoree as our friend and colleague, Bill Savino. But we have a serious note to start on. So before we begin the program, Dean Aviva Abramowski, to my right here, has some news about one of our beloved faculty members.
I wanted to share some news with you about a beloved member of our law school community. For those of you who may not know, yesterday, Professor Ken Joyce passed away peacefully. I know, the law school has lost a true legend, a friend of mine. It was only 4 years ago we were in this room celebrating him. I know that many of you in this room tonight had Ken as your professor. He taught tax law, trusted estates, property law for close to 45 years, retiring in 2008. His impact on our law school and so many of our graduates was widely known and highly regarded. He will be missed. When I shared the news earlier today with Bill and asked if he would mind, he said, "Not at all. Please do it, absolutely." Ken received the Jekyll Award in 2003, and I know that he is smiling tonight because he is celebrating as well for us together with Bill. Let's take a brief moment of silence in Ken's honor before we proceed with the rest of our celebration. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
To continue with our program, I wanted to introduce the group seated here at the head table. We already know Bill Savino, our honoree tonight. To his right is the University of Buffalo President Satish Tripathi. Our law school dean, Aviva Abramowski. The president of the UB Law Alumni Association, Liz Krangle. Bill's longtime legal partner at Woods Oviatt Gilman, Brian Gwitt. And one who I think needs no introduction, but Executive Director of the Law Alumni Association, Vice Dean Eileen Fleischman. So among our guests tonight, we also have two former Jekyll Award winners. So this is exciting. Retired surrogate judge Barbara Howe. Welcome. and Professor Jim Gardner. Thank you both for being here tonight. I also want to give a special shout out to the first family tonight, Bill's wife, Liz. His daughter, Emma Savino, who practices law here in Buffalo. And Will Savino and his wife, Claire, who just relocated back to Buffalo. We also have some other honored guests here with us tonight. Justice Aaron Perodato. Judge Paula Ferroletto. And U.S. Attorney Trini Ross. Thank you all for being here. And we could not have had this dinner without the generous support of our presenting sponsor, Woods Oviatt Gilman, especially...
That's not why I got the award. They decided first. First they told me I had the award.
It's going to be a good night, folks. All right, get ready. That's right.
So from Woods Oviatt, we want to mention a special thanks to Mitchell Nussbaum, who I'm not sure where he's seated. Oh, right there. Hello. Right in the front. Brian Gwitt and Kelly Beauchamp. And I also want to thank our many advertisers, dinner patrons, and others all of whom are listed in our program booklet. So thank you each for that. So a little bit of background on the Jekyll Award itself and why it's so important to the law school. It is the most significant recognition the School of Law and the Law Alumni Association can bestow. It has been presented since 1976 to an exceptional list of distinguished men and women who have had an enormous impact on our law school, the university, the legal profession, and our local and national community. Many of the names are legends, starting with Edwin F. Jekyll himself, the first recipient. Ed Jekyll was a national chairman of the Republican Party and served as Governor Thomas Dewey's campaign chair when he ran for president. Following him, the most renowned judges, scholars, movers, and shakers have been Jekyll Award recipients. Last year's award went to the Honorable Paul L. Friedman, the U.S. District Court Judge for the District of Columbia. Tonight, Bill's name is being added to this illustrious list as the 47th recipient of the Jekyll Award. In typical Bill fashion, he says the recognition has caused him to develop imposter syndrome. We all know that that's not true. This is very well deserved. He believes the awards committee must have been drinking heavily on the day he was selected. But everyone in this room here is here tonight because they know Bill is truly a brilliant attorney and committed to the legal community in Buffalo. And for that, he deserves it. Thank you. I'm now going to try to do some justice to some quotes from Bill's friends, including Ken, so bear with me. His close friend, Jeffrey Friedman, says he wants to send Steven Spielberg an email with the idea for a movie, Savino, The Amazing Life of the Rock Star and Car Racing Lawyer. And of course, the subtitles would have to be in Yiddish for Bill's Orthodox fans. His bandmate, Ken Africano, agrees. And Ken's here tonight, so yell out, Ken, if I hatchet your quotes here. I think of Bill as the hardest working guy in showbiz. By this, I am not talking about music, but his life overall. The man has one speed, fast and intense. The amount he accomplishes is simply unmatched. He is a hugely successful attorney. He races cars. He plays in 2 bands, Jelly Jar and My Cousin Tony. And in the Lawyers for the Arts, he plays in another 2 bands, all the while being a great husband and father. Despite the huge amount he takes on, he is always prepared he is always excellent, and he always nails it. I think you're talking about your bass playing. Gary Graber, also with us tonight, another longtime friend of Bill's, has seen Bill do business all day long, operating in full speed in Bill fashion. And when the day is over, Bill crashes. It could be the nearest bed, the nearest couch, or whatever's handy. Once he starts to fade, he has to make sure he's got a safe place to land. And I can tell you, I started my career 1 year after Brian at a firm called Damon & Mori here in Buffalo. And I was a 26-year-old neophyte lawyer coming into the corporate department of Damon & Mori, and Bill and Ken had their office 3 or 4 doors down from where I was. I thought I'd never make it in the profession after watching those two practice law. But here I am with my friend and colleague Bill 25 years later, and can say it's our good and great fortune that Bill landed at UB's law school. So please join me in congratulating him. And it is now my privilege and honor to introduce University President Satish Tripathi for remarks.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It is really a pleasure to join all of you tonight for this special occasion to honor an alumnus who has meant so much to the University at Buffalo and our School of Law. Now, just listening to all the things that Bill does, I just asked the dean, what are we doing? You know, everything Bill is doing, we can't do anything actually, except be on a university campus and manage something. Bill, you're really remarkable. Congratulations. It is also clear by looking at the number of attendees here with us this evening that Bill is an admired and well-respected member of the Buffalo legal community. It is a testament to Bill's excellent reputation as litigator, and more importantly, it shows how profound Bill's impact has been on so many people across his profession and in this community. On behalf of the entire UB community, I want to thank you all for joining us as we celebrate this great law school tradition and this year's most deserving honoree. With outstanding alumni such as Bill, who set such an inspiring example to our students and university, the future of UB and our law school is very bright. As you know, our university is intent on achieving excellence across our academic, research, and engagement missions. This vision is focused on our ambition to be ranked among the top 25 public research universities. I can tell you that in the next couple of years, we are hiring 200 new faculty on the campus. That's really probably the largest number of faculty that UB has hired in a very long time, probably since the late 60s and early 70s. We haven't really hired as many faculty in such a short time. And as a university community, we are steadfast in our motivation to further our research and engagement so we can positively impact our local and global communities. Of course, UB already has a national and global reputation, and the law school greatly contributes to our reputation for excellence. As a leading public school of law, the school has major impact on local community through our faculty research, its clinics, and many graduates who go on to successful careers. In fact, I'm told that our graduates account for about 8 out of 10 lawyers practicing in Western New York. Indeed, UB's law school is a critically important part of our university, and I know it is of critical importance to all of you. I want to thank Dean Abramowski for her leadership to the school and for guiding the way for the next generation of law school graduates. So it is most appropriate that we present the Edwin F. Jekyll Award to Bill Savino, a graduate who exemplifies in every way what it means to be a great alumnus. It is an honor for me to be here today to share this celebration and to extend the entire university's appreciation and congratulations to Bill. Bill represents all that is great about our university. And moreover, he is a proud example of everything we strive for our students to achieve when they become alumni of UB. And I'm most thankful, Bill, for your continued engagement, support, and service to UB and the many communities you serve. On behalf of UB, congratulations.
And we're now going to hear from Dean Abramowski. Aviva Abramowski, seated to my right, is the law school's 19th permanent dean and the first woman to hold the position in the law school's 135-year history. She is an expert in insurance law, commercial law, regulation of financial entities, and legal ethics. She's written on numerous articles and legal treatises, including authoring McKinney's Uniform Commercial Code forms for New York. Since her arrival at UB Law School in June of 2017, she has connected with hundreds of alumni, volunteers, and partners in the law school community. She has strengthened existing relationships and continues to forge new ones. She has overseen the expansion of our clinical legal education program, the implementation of our new undergraduate program in law, which is very successful, by the way, the development of UB's Center for the Advancement of Sport, and the growth of our mentoring program. She has directed new capital improvements at O'Brien Hall, including extensive renovations to 2 first-floor classrooms, in addition of new large classroom space. Dean?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Tonight is going to be fun. Tonight we get together, look at this crowd. It turns out not only is Bill Savino the hardest working man in show business, he's also a headliner. So thank you all for being here to celebrate this with me. And special thanks to our university president, Satish Tripathi, for celebrating with us today. His strong and steady leadership have guided me through my entire time here, and I am very grateful for it. You know, when you think about it, we've been through a lot together these last few years. So I mean it when I say how much I rely upon all of you here and the leadership here. And I also want to thank our MC, Chris Whiteman, for traveling to Buffalo from the West Coast. I think you're doing a great job, and I also rely on you. Thank you so much. I'm also going to thank Brian Gwitt ahead of time, even though he hasn't given his speech yet. So it's provisional, but I'm willing to take the chance. So like Bill, both Chris and Brian are lawyers, supporters of the law school, and well-respected members of our legal community. I am fortunate to have their support and all of your support. A little bit of formality, and then I'll go off script, and we'll see what happens tonight. The Edwin F. Jekyll Award is the highest honor the law school and the Law Alumni Association can bestow. Everyone's like, oh no, she's going off script. All right. Presented each year to an individual to acknowledge their outstanding achievements. And tonight's honoree, Bill Savino, has many. In preparing for tonight, I've reflected on Bill's truly extraordinary professional and personal life. Destiny has always smiled on you, Bill. I might be a little jealous. I called him, so first of all, a bunch of you outside have said, is this gonna be a roast? And while I am deeply tempted, the answer is no, of course not. This is a celebration, the roast is at the after party. So while preparing for tonight's remarks, I called up Bill and I asked him a few questions. You know, did he remember me saying anything funny at all in 6 years? He said no. All these types of things. So I asked him a few other questions, and I said, tell me, some more of your life story. Sadly, we've been, doing a lot of business together for 6 years. And that's when he confessed to me, and I'm sure to most of you too, that somehow he has already, thank God, survived three car crashes at Watkins Glen, and at least 2 other related vehicle incidents in high school. One involving nearly falling off a flatbed truck where he was standing without a seatbelt. Yeah. But luckily was saved by a friend, literally, who picked him up like a sack of potatoes and saved him. And the other, a rear-end collision which ended with the engine of the truck ahead of him practically in his lap. He tells me these stories, and I think to myself, wow, 1, you need to take care of yourself. We need you to live. 2, of course you ended up with a hobby of race car driving. That makes perfect sense. And 3, Liz is one brave woman. Anyway, in all seriousness, Bill has many passions, boundless energy, and unbridled enthusiasm. He has been a great gift to me for my entire time here, a gift to all of us. There is never a meeting or an event where he can't lighten the mood, change it, and bring us to where we need to be. He's a consensus maker. He's a passionate advocate. He uses the rule of reason, and I'm very grateful to him in all things. And whether that's in the courtroom, the classroom, the racetrack, the stage, his working with his family and friends, he always gives you 110%. He usually convinces you that he's right, but he makes you smile while doing it. And I am grateful for that. I have another story up here about the time he lost his iPhone because he left it on the roof of his race car while doing laps. But I'm going to leave that one for somebody else because I don't want to interfere you. I know we are waiting for the main event. And I do want to tell you, though, Bill, you see, I am funny. I'm just limited, right? All right. A little bit more. Bill earned his law degree in 1975 and remained connected and involved so much and for so long, and with such constant and irrational support that I am so grateful for. After just a handful of years in practice, he began teaching business law. Many of you here have told me you actually took Bill's class and you've done okay in life. Many of you actually said they owe their career to you for introducing them, but I'll let them tell you that themselves. He also has been teaching at UB School of Management since 1979 and remains a member of both adjunct faculties today. Since 2001, he's taught commercial litigation at the law school. And in 2019, he already received the Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award. How very apropos for today. Anyone within earshot of Bill's classrooms can hear his excitement as he explains the intricacies of the UCC, which, by the way, I myself have taught for 15 years, and I write McKinney's forms. It is a very useful class. Right? And how many of you in practice now wish you really had understood more of the Uniform Commercial Code? Yeah, exactly. Tell the president, not me. I know it's true. Right? All right. In course reviews, his students often, and let's not even talk about insurance. I don't know why everyone doesn't take my insurance class. I have a current student in here, just took me in the fall, so he says it was okay. Yeah, right there. Looking at you. Yeah. Since 2001, he's taught with us, and his students often comment on his energy and love. He's known to have the ability to bring the law to life, which is, of course, perfect for those of us in commercial law. For it's Carl Llewellyn and legal realism who always believed in the life of the law. And so it's really not surprising, actually, to find us commercial law scholars to be that type of person. It's unexpected, but that's actually in the grand tradition, right, of Article 2 and the rest of sales in the UCC. In addition to training legal minds in the classroom, Bill is a mentor to his UB students and a tireless champion for their careers. For several decades, and many of you here in this room can attest to this, he has helped his students make valuable connections. He has helped them find jobs. He has helped them work through their questions, large and small, concerning their futures. He is one of the many people who has helped all of you and us here become the people we are today. Many of his students have told me that without Bill, because he also taught them as undergrads, they wouldn't have even gone to law school or stuck it out once they got there, if not for his influence. But stuck it out they did and you did, and that's why he's getting the Jekyll tonight. Liz Savino, Bill's wife of 36 years, is also a lawyer and a UB Law graduate. She took Bill's business law class in the School of Management before deciding to apply to law school herself. She went on to a long and successful career at CTG, where she recently retired as Vice President of Human Resources. Congratulations. A little more about Liz. To go over the accomplishments of the Savino family would take us a whole nother event, which we can book, but I just want to say it's a truly accomplished family. Liz often meets other lawyers and professionals who are taught by her husband. While she doesn't always know how they fared against Bill in case or in court, many have told her, Bill Savino taught me business law, and it was the most useful class I had. Bill's a longtime member of the Dean's Advisory Council. That's those of you who sit there, who come in to give me advice, and I am very grateful for it. And like Bill's many students, I have often looked to him for guidance, inspiration, and to tell me everything will be okay. I know that if the law school needs assistance or support, I can always count on him. During our phone calls, he gets right to the point. What do you need? Says Bill Savino. Usually before he says hello.
How can I help? How can I help? How can I help?
How can I help? Which rhymes with, it's a wonderful thing. And you do always come through for us with the advice I need, the way it's delivered, and I am very grateful. A few years ago, the law school recognized the need to increase fellowship funding for students interested in doing access to justice work during the summer after their first year of law school. Typically, these important positions are unpaid, but as you know, offer invaluable legal experience and provide much needed services to the community. Fellowships offset student expenses, enabling students to pursue their passion and serve the public. And nobody understands his passion better than Bill. He and his family have stepped forward to fund the William F. Savino, Elizabeth Martin Savino, and Emma M. Savino Summer Fellowship. Yeah. Emma, as many of you know, is also a 2018 law graduate, is Bill and Liz's daughter. Their generosity has made it possible for several law students already to take prestigious placements with the judiciary, giving each student the opportunity to learn at the highest levels about the administration of justice. They provided these students with career-building opportunities and exposure that may not have been possible without this fellowship support. Thank you, and thank his family. Bill and his family also generously sponsored for the law school's call for assistance. Since 2010, the Savinos have funded an annual scholarship for an incoming student, helping us to attract the best and the brightest and reaching out to encourage them to make UB Law their #1 choice.
From Canada. From Canada.
Their current scholar, Matthew Mitchell, is here with us tonight. Matthew, if you want to say hi, yeah. Matthew is in his second year of law school at 2L, and he and his classmate Matthew Biondillo are the 2022 Charles S. Desmond Moot Court winners. So the legacy continues, and it looks like we do have an eye for talent. Bill's investment in our students doesn't end when they graduate. He's committed to bringing them throughout law school the best it can be for all of his colleagues. He's a leader and a role model, and he's been the recipient of multiple honors, many from his peers, many from you here today, including the Law Alumni Association's Distinguished Alumnus Award for Business Achievements presented to him in 2014. Bill has been an integral part of the Law Alumni Association for many years. He served as the president in the early 1990s. He's participated in dozens of panels and CLE programs. He has attended more alumni events and activities than most of us here tonight, including me. And as we all know, when Bill is in the room, his energy is contagious. Thank you for your service, Bill. Thank you. I'm almost done, but I think there's just a little bit more to say. Many refer to Bill as the smartest person they know, and they tend to have good judgment. I've met them. One of Bill's longtime mentors, Richard Dopkins, describes Savino as not to the manner born, but possessing an intelligence that is off the charts. Well, I'm not to the manner born either. Very few of us are. It is that combination of off-the-charts intelligence, integrity, and spirit that brings us all here today to present our highest award to an individual with the highest standards of achievement and service. Congratulations, Bill. You are a rock star. I guess you could say that we made a good decision with this one, right? Congratulations again.
We're now going to hear from Brian Gwitt, a colleague of Bill's and a partner in Woods Oviatt Gilman's litigation department. He has worked with Bill on business and commercial litigation matters. He works with Bill and successfully handling multiple lawsuits and arbitrations through verdict. He has a multi-jurisdictional practice, handling cases in federal and state courts throughout the country. Brian is a past president of the UB Law Alumni Association and continues to maintain a close connection to the law school, where he currently serves on the past president's board. Brian.
Dean Fleischman asked me to make some remarks today. She said I have 10 minutes, which I will keep to that. And the only topic was talk about Bill as a professional. So there's a lot of room to work there. Starting with, are you one? But we're not going to start there. So, look, we've heard all about, and it's true, he's the smartest guy we know. He's a brilliant lawyer. Totally true. But I want to talk about really what I think his most important skill is, and that's his business acumen. This might be one of the best business people I know. And I'm going to walk through a little bit of his history and make that case to you. And Dean told me to treat this like a closing argument. So the mark of a great lawyer is someone who reinvents themselves every 10 or 15 years. You can't just do the same thing over and over, right? As I walk through this, you will see Bill has reinvented himself successfully over and over and over. And that's what keeps him relevant, and that's what keeps him on top. So after graduating from UB, the best law school around, as we all agree in this room, Bill went to clerk for a judge in Evansville, Indiana. Who's been to Evansville, Indiana? Yep, right there. So if you've been to Evansville, Indiana, you know that Bill Savino in Evansville, Indiana is as much of a fish out of water as you could have. But he went, and he clerked for Judge Tommy Dean Capshaw, and he lands there, and he learns a lot from the judge. And what I love about Bill, and you're going to see this throughout, he adapts, he learns, he approaches people, and when Judge Capshaw says, you know what, Bill, you talk too fast. You got to slow your cadence down. He listens, right? He's a young lawyer. I mean, we have to learn that from somebody. So he listens and he takes it in. And Bill doesn't just embrace Judge Capshaw as a mentor, but they become lifelong friends and keep in contact until he passed away just February of 2021. And that's another thing we see with Bill throughout his career. He doesn't just approach a place and make acquaintances. He makes lifelong friends, people that are with him. I understand his co-clerk from when he worked for Judge Capshaw is here tonight. There you go. So to make those deep connections and to stay with those people for decades says a lot about a person. Not everybody does that. After leaving Evansville, he comes back home. He joins McGavran. It's 1978. And he meets his next mentor, the brilliant lawyer Jim McGavran, who many of you know in here. Another lifelong friendship is made, and another mentorship is formed. He learns a lot from Jim. Jim was brilliant, and he learns how to approach cases, and he learns how to develop business. And Bill sits down, and he decides, I need to invent myself. And I know he told me not to use this word, but he teaches himself bankruptcy law. I know you don't want to talk about bankruptcy law, but in the late 70s, early 80s, few people are doing it. And he teaches himself this difficult area of the law and becomes not only adept at it, but excellent at it. And he really makes a name by doing high-profile bankruptcy cases and succeeding at them. And he works on that for a while. And now he decides, I need to reinvent myself again. I need a new platform. I don't want to be just a bankruptcy lawyer. I want to be more than that. So he moves over in 1986 to Damon Mori. And there he joins a firm that is steeped in litigation, but not business litigation. And Bill decides, I'm going to form a business litigation group. And I meant to grab it from you. He has handwritten his business plan from Damon Mori. He keeps it at his desk. I'm not kidding. And he puts it in place. He builds what becomes one of the largest business litigation groups in Western New York. I mean, the practice grows every year. More lawyers are added every year. And he's not a bankruptcy lawyer anymore. Now he does corporate governance. Now he does split up work. Now he does contract work. Now he does construction litigation. So he just continues to broaden. He continues to expand. And through Damon Mori, he's able to do for others what Judge Capshaw and what Jim McGavran did for him. He becomes a mentor. Chris Henrich, who I'm looking at right here, has said many times that a lot of us from Damon Mori are proteges of Bill. And a lot of you Damon Mori people are here today, and you probably agree with that. He spends a lot of time, there's Amber Storr back there. He spends a lot of time teaching. He spends a lot of time mentoring. And he's passing on, he's paying forward what Judge Capshaw and what Jim McGavran did for him. And it's part of Bill that I think gets lost a little bit, right? Like he's a tough lawyer, he's a tough-minded lawyer. And if you're on the other side of a case from him, you're not really thinking he's a good mentor. But if you work with him, there's a different side. And that side, deserves to be recognized here tonight. So let's fast forward to 2014. Let's reinvent ourselves again. Bill, with Chris and Anthony, who I'm looking at right here, helps us spearhead this venture where we opened up an office for Woods Oviatt in Buffalo. We've been at it for 8.5 years. It's been incredibly successful. We've met a bunch of wonderful new people. We have wonderful new partners. But a lot of that is Bill recognizing that, okay, we need to change again. We need to reinvent ourselves again. We need to grow again. And what does he do now? He takes on a whole new practice. He's doing real estate litigation in New York City. Mike Shaw's here. I mean, Bill is doing but Bill is doing high stakes, litigation in real estate against large downstate firms, and he's winning. He's doing a terrific job. He's getting terrific results. And again, he just keeps reinventing. He keeps changing. He keeps growing. And that's what keeps it all fresh, and that's what keeps it all relevant. How do you have, a 40-year career without doing that, right? And he's done it. And again, that is the mark, in my view, of a great attorney. But setting that aside, I do want to talk just a little bit about something we see in the office that, again, maybe his opponents don't see. There's a generosity to Bill and a decency to Bill. He's very generous with people, and he teaches through his teaching, and he teaches the New York CPLR update through the Erie County Bar Association. 6-7 years we've done it? And I go to these events, and we get a big turnout, and it's like a cult following. These lawyers come up, and they just want to talk to him and ask him questions, and it's incredible. It really is. It's like they're praying to Mecca. But you know what? He takes the time, and he talks to them, and he answers their questions. And a lot of these lawyers, he had cases with or against, and frankly, sometimes drubbed them in court, and then turned around and put his arm around him and said, you know what? Next time you should try this argument. Now, he waits till he wins, but after he wins, he offers some constructive points. And I've seen him do this. I've seen him do this many times. And then these people, it's nice. They become friends. They become referral sources. They become people that call him up for advice. And he's always generous with his time. I've never seen him turn a call away. I've never seen him not respond to an email. And that, look, he's got to have a generous and decent side, right? Look at his kids. I mean, him and Will are wonderful people. It can't all be Liz. There's got to be something here. And I submit to you that it exists. So at the risk of an event like this, because it's not, it starts to feel like a capstone to a career, and it's not that. Like, this is a career that is in full bloom. I mean, Bill is working incredibly hard. His practice keeps growing every year. His business keeps growing every year. And we're fortunate. We get to come in every day. He's in the office. I want that to continue. I get to come in every day, and I get to see my friend, who's now become a lifelong friend. And I hope that continues.
Thank you, Brian. That was great. That was really great. And to present this year's Edwin F. Jekyll Award, here are Dean Abramowski and Alumni Association President Liz Kringle.
As we are presenting the award, it is my honor to share with you the inscription. In recognition of his significant contributions to his university and his law school, it is with great esteem, gratitude, and affection that we present William F. Savino with the highest award the law school and the Law Alumni Association can bestow. As a longtime member of the Dean's Advisory Council and a former president of the Law Alumni Association, he has worked diligently to enhance the quality and reputation of the law school. He received the Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award for his outstanding performance in the classroom and is one of our most sought-after professors. A prominent and accomplished litigator, he has earned the respect of his colleagues and his fellow practitioners for his dedication to the law. Throughout his distinguished career, he has brought honor and pride to his law school and the legal profession. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you. That's really good written right there. I am the luckiest UB graduate I know. I may be the luckiest UB Law graduate ever. The first week of UB Law School in August 1972, I became lifelong friends with Peggy Rabkin. She, in turn, introduced me to her husband, UB Law graduate Sam Rabkin, who worked for then County Attorney, UB Law graduate Jim McGavern, who had assembled in his office a camelot of the best and brightest, including Judge Hugh Scott, a Jekyll Award winner, and my neighbor, Gabe Ferber. Thanks to Peggy and intern Sam, Jim, another Jekyll awardee, hired me as an intern at the county attorney office and later as an associate at McGavern, and Grimm, where Jim became my beloved mentor and taught me how to be a lawyer, and Dick Dopkins, who has graciously joined us tonight, taught me the practice of law, the business of law. I'm the luckiest UB Law graduate I know. In 1975, 10 days before the bar examination, my parents had told me they were divorcing. My girlfriend had returned to her old boyfriend in North Carolina, no loss. And my attempt to find a legal position in California had backfired, leaving me behind the curve, desperately searching for a job in Buffalo. Despondent, I made plans to skip taking the bar examination. But my UB Law classmate, Bob Van Every, later best man at Liz and my wedding, talked me off the ledge with masterful reverse psychology. I'm the luckiest UB Law graduate I know. 40 years ago today, 40 years ago this minute, I was an inpatient at Sisters Hospital waiting for surgery that week to remove from my head what was either a very large benign or a very large malignant tumor. Dr. Jack Luray said I had a 50% chance of long-term survival. The entire tumor was benign, and all that shows now is my split lip. The luckiest UB Law graduate I know. I met my UB Law graduate wife at 7:15 p.m. Friday, December 20, 1985, after the Jack Hunt party, Christmas party, and I only met her because she asked the man next to her at Jimmy Mac's if he knew a good Czech novelist. When he faltered, I stuck my nose into their conversation and said, Milan Kundera. And 39 days later, Liz and I decided to get married. If Liz had asked for a Hungarian novelist, for a Romanian novelist, we never would have met. The luckiest UB Law graduate I know. I continue to be a lucky UB Law graduate. 15 years ago, I got a call from Mike Shaw, who flew in. He's sitting over there. Harvard Law graduate, real estate developer in Manhattan, who would rapidly become my most important client. How did I get this referral? Mike needed a business litigator in Buffalo and asked his New York City bankruptcy attorney, UB Law graduate, Mark Frankel, who should Mike retain here? Mark Frankel called yet another UB Law graduate, Tom Ioannou, who told Mark to tell Mike Shaw to use me. Without the UB connection, I would never be handling Mike's litigation downstate and elsewhere, and now he's with us here tonight, the luckiest UB Law graduate I know. And tonight, I know I am quite lucky to have received the Edwin F. Jaco Award and to have met the legend himself late in his career. But maybe it wasn't all my luck. Maybe it's just what happens when you are lucky enough to be in the UB Law community. What does it mean to be a UB Law graduate? UB Law graduates hire each other. UB Law graduates teach each other's children. We mentor each other. We litigate against each other. UB Law graduates close business transactions with each other. We refer each other legal work. UB Law graduates write scholarly pieces with each other. UB Law graduates vote for each other. We govern each other. UB Law graduates play music with each other. UB Law graduates go to Bills games together. UB Law graduates marry each other. UB Law graduates raise more UB Law graduates. UB Law graduates go to each other's wakes and funerals. UB Law graduates dedicate our time and treasure together. We value each other. UB Law graduates honor each other. And UB Law graduates party with each other. This night is young. UB Law graduates hire each other. UB Law graduate Jim McGavern hired me for my first position in Buffalo. Later, I was instrumental in the hiring of UB Law graduates who are now my partners in Buffalo at Woods Oviatt, Anthony Eugenie, Brian Gwitt, and Andrea DeLulio. And I even taught Andrea 8 years ago in my commercial litigation class at UB. And I want to thank Brian for those wonderful words. I thought of myself as reinventing myself, and I'm glad somebody noticed. And I'm not done. I'm gonna do one more thing at least. And thank you for your kind words, Aviva. And there were close calls. Steve Linza, I still tell him he saved my life. UB Law graduates teach each other's children. In recent years, my commercial litigation class at UB has had the children of UB Law graduates Julie Barnese, Mike Berger, and my classmate, Justice Anne-Marie Taddeo. 16 years ago, I taught John Ross Wilson, the son of my UB Law School classmate, John Lewis Wilson. Sadly, last year, we tragically lost John Ross, far too young. If you see a photo up here where there's a woman singing and there's a young man on guitar, that young man was a couple years from being dead. UB Law graduates mentor each other. Brian Gwitt mentors Andrea DeLulio, is now our partner. Back at Damon Mori, I mentored my former UB Law student, Amber Storr, who is now a partner of JACO Award winner Anne Ivanko. While there, I also mentored Mark Warren, who rose near the top of MT's counsel's office. And my wife, Liz, mentored Chris Moggins, who is now expertly representing Park Club, where I pretend to be a golfer. Speaking of Park Club, I want to thank Park Club for taking an entire table. And I also want to send greetings to Belmont Housing, to Calamar, to AV Rover, to Mike Shaw from Del Shaw, who flew in, and from others from the business community who are here interacting with lawyers and probably thinking we're a bunch of boring people that just congratulate each other. UB Law graduates litigating against each other. Just last week, I was on trial with His Honor, Justice Emilio L. Koliakovo, UB Law graduate, against Ned Snyder, UB Law graduate. UB Law graduates close business transactions with each other. Almost 40 years ago, when I closed the sale of my client, WZIR-FM, Buyers Counsel, UB Law graduate Sandy O'Loughlin, despite my being her adversary, gave me a book to celebrate our closing this delicate radio transaction. UB Law graduates refer each other legal work. The referral from Mike Shaw through Mark Franco and Tom Ioannou to me is an example of how the UB Law community takes care of our own. And I have sent broker-dealer litigation in New York City to JACO Award winner Mike Battle. UB Law graduates write scholarly pieces with each other. Not only have I long taught in UB's management school for UB Law graduate Arlene Hibschweiler, last year she and I were published in the Journal of Accountancy. Try not to yawn. Before that, Brian and I were published in West UCC Bulletin, which is far perkier. UB Law graduates vote at our polling places for each other. I took pleasure in casting ballots for UB Law graduate Henry Nowak for Congress, UB Law graduate Dennis Vacco for Attorney General, and for local judges here tonight, like Justices Ferroletto, Perodato, Howe, all UB Law graduates. UB Law graduates govern each other. Liz and my UB Law graduate friend, Jill Bond, is the president of our County Bar Association, and follows a long list of UB graduates serving in that role. UB graduates make music with each other. UB Law graduate Ken Afrocano and I have been playing in an R&B band, Jelly Jar, for almost three decades. And we're practicing Saturday with our new drummer. Now, Ken has long been a driving force in the annual Lawyers for the Arts shows, for which I played bass in the rock group and the jazz group each year until 2023, when you, Chris Whiteman, scheduled the Dean's Advisory Council for the same weekend. So I'm going to be absent this year, Ken, but I have 150 witnesses that I want my 2 slots back in 2024. I'm not giving up my chair. Law graduates go to Bills games together. As you could see on the screen earlier, Bob Feldman, Bruce Seftel, Gary Graber, and I sat together at Bills games for decades. Each of us attended at least one Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. I would go to road games and playoffs with Bob, but we lost him prematurely last year. And he will be sorely missed by his widow, Lisa, who's here with us tonight, and by all his friends for a very long time. And I also have to acknowledge that we lost Ken Joyce, and I try to model my teaching on him. He was exceedingly peripatetic. He strode the floor like it was a stage, like he was Bruce Springsteen working a crowd. And I decided that energy comes off and into the attention of the students. UB Law graduates marry each other. I married Liz. Brian married Bridget Nyland. Bruce Seftel married Barbara Del Gras. Bob Van Every married Judy Clare. Sam Rabkin married Peggy, and the list goes on. UB Law graduates, raise more UB Law graduates. For the last 5 years, Liz and I have shared a UB Law degree with Emma, an associate Hodgson, which has a table. Thank you, guys. See you there. And she, in turn, assists our son with his music contracts. UB Law graduates go to each other's wakes and funerals. Besides those for Bob and John, I've recently needed to attend the wakes for my mentor, Jim McGavern, for Justice Frederick Marshall, another UB Law graduate and a gifted musician for whom I was honored to play bass guitar, and also for John Mahalski, Justice John Mahalski, the funniest UB Law graduate ever to wear black robes. Last year, we also lost Dennis Harkowick, Judge Philip Datillo, Robert Jenkins, groundbreaking family court judge Marjorie Mix, and my UB Law classmate, Tom Dory. UB graduates donate our time and treasure together. Marion Henderson served faithfully for many years as secretary for UB's Law Alumni Association. And last year, my UB Law classmate, Pam Heilman, and her husband, Bob, gave our alma mater $1 million, a gift much appreciated by Eileen Fleischman and Stephanie Mack, Karen Kosmarski, Pat Warrington, Ann Gallin, Lisa Mueller, Amy Hypnorowski, Jill Damagala, and Amy Atkinson, and Hannah Atkinson. Let's give that able and deserving team at UB Law Alumni Affairs a big round of applause. They do all the work. They do all the work. And I still remember the one awardee who didn't mention anybody on the team. Oh, yeah. You were throwing him daggers. Daggers. I'll give you the name so you can stick the pin in the doll. UB Law graduates value each other. I value the gratifying attendance tonight and that Chris Whiteman and my fellow law clerk, Errol Phipps, both flew in from California. UB Law graduates honor each other. Tonight, I honor all of you for your continuing support of our alma mater, UB Law School. And UB Law graduates, party together. No, it's time to switch. You pass me my real drink, please. Okay, Rob Roy. Mm-hmm. So, the second this thing adjourns, I'm going out there in the atrium to have a cocktail with as many as you as possible while we all listen to Stu and Avery Weissman play some jazz that Jim McGavern and Justice Marshall would have enjoyed. So how do we UB Law graduates maintain our wonderful community and our traditions into the future? Just as Dean Gardner handed off to Dean Abramowski, and Vice Dean Eileen Fleischman is gradually passing her fabled torch to Stephanie Mack. We need to inculcate in the younger UB Law graduates our sense of community, our dedication, and our aspiration to excellence, all attributable to UB Law School. We need to ensure that the UB Law graduates coming up Learn that you can be a zealous advocate and a tenacious negotiator without breaking rules or undermining civility. We need to ensure that UB Law graduates coming up remember that we must internalize the goals of diversity, equity, and inclusion and act on those goals daily. We need to ensure, good. If anything deserved applause, that did. We need to ensure that the UB Law graduates coming up understand that UB graduates take care of and look out for each other, especially at their time of need or want. And we need to ensure that the UB Law graduates coming up recognize that as they too become successful, it is essential that they give back to UB Law School the way that all the lawyers in this room do each and every year. Then, and only then, will they understand that they have not been merely lucky, but also deserving of everything they received as UB Law graduates. Thank you.